Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. It's AC Milan against Genoa. It's the match preview. Matchup will be played tomorrow, Saturday, March 18th at 8:45 p.m. Italian time at the Stadio San Siro. 10 games remaining in the Serie A season. Each game has to be treated like a final, and Milan will be playing the first of 10 finals really against Genoa, a team that we lost to back in October 3-0 in a match that many people weren't expecting such a crazy result like that in favor of Genoa. But it is other times, of course. We are now in the month of March, and personally I think everyone particularly forgot about that fixture, and they're still thinking about the game that was played last weekend against Juventus. Personally, I'm still pissed about it, still have thoughts about what injustice we faced against Juventus, but it is time to move on. Like I mentioned before, we still have 10 games to go in this season. And what I like to call these 10 games is a mini season of its own. Really, these are 10 finals that we need to play our best and really get as many points as possible. These are the games that will pretty much see if whether we are going to make it to the Europa League next season or not. So it is important to go in with the right attitude, the right mentality, hoping that we do get maximum points from these fixtures. Now we are playing Genoa. Like I said before, we did lose to them 3-0 back in October, but they are doing pretty poor. As a matter of fact, in the standings, Genoa is currently sitting in 16th place, having won only one of the last 5 fixtures, and that came against Empoli. Last weekend they lost in the Derby della Lanterna against Sampdoria, so they're definitely gonna redeem themselves, and I think they're going to the San Siro knowing that, you know, we did beat Milan back in October. Why can we not do it again? And that's exactly what Milan needs to be careful for, because Genoa, even though they're a team that's sitting in 16th place, it's always a team that has been giving Milan difficulties in recent games. As a matter of fact, we have lost 4 out of the last 5 games played against Genoa in all competitions, and that's a statistic that definitely cannot do too good to Milan, and we're gonna look to turn things around, turn the tables around tomorrow at the San Siro. Speaking about players, we will be missing quite a few number of players, either through suspension or injury. Last game we lost Romagnoli and Jose Sosa due to suspension, as Romagnoli picked up a booking and Jose Sosa got sent off, as you could recall, in those last minutes of the game. Also, Bacca later on after the game confronted the referee in a way that I think wasn't really appreciated by the referee and the Serie A. Therefore, he was also handed a 1-game ban. So we are missing all these guys, and this is besides all the players who are currently out on injury, including Bonaventura, Suso, Abate, and so forth. The list goes on and on, but I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of the situation at Milan. So we are going with a depleted team, but we still have quite a few certainties, quite a few players that could make the difference at this team, and I'm still pretty confident that we could get the win tomorrow. So without further ado, let's take a look at the probable starting 11. Like I said, there are quite a few changes from last game, but let's go on and look at this. So in net, we got Donnarumma starting, of course, De Sciglio as the right back, Zapata and Paletta once again reconfirmed as a center back pairing. We saw Zapata being shifted to the right side last game against Juventus, and Romagnoli was paired up with Paletta. But now that Romagnoli is suspended, Paletta and Zapata will once again be the starting pairing there. Vangioni will be starting on the left. Quite a few doubts regarding the midfield here. A number of players have been switched in and off in terms of the midfield and who will be starting. We still don't know exactly, but these are the latest reports coming in from Sky. Kuchka will probably be starting on the right, Matti Fernandez in the middle, and Bertolacci on the left there. Matti Fernandez is supposed to be playing a more attacking midfield role there to support Lapadula. And this is very surprising because we haven't seen Matti Fernandez start in games and God knows how long. So I'm actually pretty surprised if this is the solution or this is the option that Montella will be going in here with. So we'll see exactly what Montella is going to want to think in terms of playing Mati Fernandez. Locatelli, of course, he was a victim to a fever, and it seems like he's still not 100% fit to play. But the same thing was said about Kuchka, saying that he was playing too much and he needs a rest. But yet again, we see him on this probable starting 11. Up front, we got Deulofeu replacing Suso on that right wing, Lapadula replacing the suspended Bacca, and Ocampos playing on the left side. I think this is the best we could do in terms of options that we have. And it's funny because this is not even our starting trio. And if you think of it, our starting trio will probably be Suso, Bacca, and Bonaventura. They're all out for this game. And if Milan didn't make those additions of Deulofeu and Ocampos in the last days of the January transfer window, you could just imagine the situation that we would have been in for this game. Lapadula gets a rare start. He hasn't been starting in many games. But this is, I think, once again, the perfect opportunity for him to get another chance in the spotlight, to see if he's capable to win and score some goals, really, for Milan. Yes, he's been given chances in recent games. We saw it against Cavo there when he came on as a substitute. He also scored there from the penalty shot spot. But really, Lapadula has been snubbed by Montella in terms of getting a starting position. So I think this is a big chance for him. Even though he does have a good game, chances are that Bacca will be returning as a starter next week, or actually in 2 weeks, because next week is the international break. But this is pretty much saying that Lapadula, even though he does get the job done tomorrow, he needs to send a very positive message to Montella if he wants to keep a starting position in that starting 11. Let me know your thoughts about the probable starting 11 in the comment section below. I'll be getting into your comments in just a few moments. But just to round this up, I'm pretty confident going into this match. Like I said before, yes, we did lose against Genoa 3-0 back in October, but they've only managed to win 1 out of the last 5 games. And from what I read, they've had a lot of trouble really since December. And I could even take a look at their form in the past 10 games. Genoa still sits in 17th place with only 1 win in their past 10 games. And if I look at even their further form, in the last 15 games, they've only won 2 games. So really, there's no excuse whatsoever when it comes to winning tomorrow's game. It's a game that matters a lot. 3 points are a must in these 10 games that are remaining. And we need to start off here against Genoa at home. I don't see a problem as to why we shouldn't be beating them. Of course, they still have threats. They still have players that could definitely make the difference. I'm not saying anything there, but we definitely have to be careful. And one of these names is, of course, Giovanni Simeone, if I'm not mistaken. He is their top scorer at the moment, and he's definitely leading the race in that department when comparing the other Genoa players. But let's get to your comments, guys. Let me know exactly what you guys think regarding the formation, regarding the game. Do you think we will have an easy time against Genoa, or do you think, once again, it will be a tough task to play against them? So let's get into your comments. What's happening, everyone? Thank you for the cheers. Kyle Wilkins says, Happy St. Patrick's Day, guys. That's exactly why I'm wearing green. Star Caldera says, Gio, will we get Europa League or Champions League? Like I mentioned, it all depends on these 10 games. Whether or not we are capable of obtaining maximum points. I don't think we really need 30 points out of 30 here to make it to the Europa League, but a lot will depend on us, like Montella said, rather than the other teams that are currently in contention for the Europa League position. And what I mean by that is, it really depends on us. If we're capable of winning the games, then why not? You know, I think we have every opportunity to make it to the Europa League. If we start dropping points and other teams take advantage, then it's only us to blame. That's my main focus that I want to gather here in terms of whether or not we will make it to the Europa League. The Champions League is out of the question. YY says, hopefully this match will not be the same as the one against Referentis. That's a pretty interesting name there. Do I think the closing will ever go through? Don't want to speak about it, to be honest. My head has been in this consistent headache since last year, and every week or every 2 days I see a different report. I've been mentioning so many times on Rossoneri TV, updates concerning the whole situation regarding closing. I think I got 10 different videos at least on the whole situation, confusing people because of reports that are being mentioned, so I'd rather not speak about it until we have an official confirmation that it's happening. I'm sorry about you guys. As much as I would like to give you updates concerning the whole thing, it's like I would have to make a video every 2 days regarding this topic, because we just never know if it's gonna happen or not. We always hear different voices, we always hear different rumors. So to me, this is worse than the transfer window when we hear something about a player, whether or not we will be getting him. This is even worse. So until then, I will leave this topic aside. Alvin says this is a must-win game if we are to have any chance to get Europe. Lots of people are questioning about Matty Fernandez and why Montella is thinking of playing him there. Afish says, I hope Montella proves me wrong. Kyle Wilkins says, hopefully we will play angry against Genoa and blow them out. Well, one thing I noticed about Milan, and really, even though we do concede many fouls, I still believe that, we have a problem of going into games in a way too nice mentality. What I mean by this is that we are not always fierce. We are not always fearful to the opponents. We always go in with this passive mentality, and at times, I think we kind of submit something. We kind of concede some force in our play. And that's exactly why we need to, refrain from that. We need to go with a very convincing manner into games. And unfortunately, that winning mentality that Juventus have in terms of playing, yes, besides the occasion that occurred last weekend, that is exactly something that Milan needs to, obtain if they want to reach higher objectives. What do I think about the derby playing early? Is it good? Personally, it's next month. I don't really want to speak about it now. I think I will leave the discussion towards the derby preview, but I'm definitely not pleased, especially for the North American people that are gonna have to wake up super early for a game like Milan against Inter. To me, it makes no sense at all. Afi says, if we take 7 wins, which we can from the last 10, can we go to the Europa League? It's only Inter, Roma, and Atalanta that could pose us the problems. Yeah, on paper, those are the teams that could pose us the problems, but at the end of the day, it all depends on how Milan said. Like I said before, it depends on how we approach these games. It depends what result we can get. If we make it to the Europa League, it's gonna be due to our, playing style, due to how we perform in those games, due to how we obtain the results. If we don't obtain the results, the only thing that we could do is really blame ourselves. Yes, put alone the case of last week against Juventus, where I did think that we deserved the result. But besides that, on any other match where more than likely an episode like that won't reoccur, we're going to have to win the games ourselves. So it's only us to blame if we don't get the 3 points. Annie says, I don't think it will be easy against Genoa, but I hope the guys can beat them. Will Cutrone get a chance? I want to see him play. Not too sure if he's going to be getting a chance tomorrow. Yes, he might be getting some playing time, but I highly doubt it, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, he did get called up, so there is a possibility to see him playing tomorrow. But in terms of starting, we definitely won't be seeing him tomorrow. By the way, just a little thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to formation. It appears to be that Bertolacci might actually be starting now from the middle, while Matty Fernandez could be starting on the left. It's still not sure exactly how Montella will be playing in that midfield. I did say that there's still lots to talk about and lots to decide for Montella in terms of who he wants to play tomorrow. So I think we'll have a more clear vision tomorrow in terms of who he wants to field there. Do I think we can finish above Inter this season? It's possible, definitely. It's still mathematically possible, so I don't see why we cannot finish ahead of Inter. But we're going to have to win a lot of games, and they're going to have to slow down somehow. If we want to finish above them, we definitely have to beat them in the derby, that's for sure. Alvin says, I think it could be a tough game. We did lose to Udinese a few games ago, and they were arguably worse than Genoa. like I said, it all depends how we turn up on these days. If we're there to play, if we're there to win, then we shouldn't have any problems to get the 3 points. Abdul says, Gio, do you think Romagnoli's constant absence this season due to injuries and suspensions makes him an unreliable player? No, I still think he's a reliable player, that's for sure. In the games that he's played, he's shown very good things. Very rarely was he at fault for a lot of things this season. I think he provides a very good partnership there with Paletta. I think it's just, unjust, I guess you could say, to really evaluate him based on all those games that he's missed due to the injuries and suspensions. I think he deserves better than that, to be honest. And I guess it's just unfortunate that he's really been, victim to these things this season. Afi says, I prefer Locatelli to Fernandez, even if Locatelli has measles. We'll see what happens. Really, this is a decision that has to be made by the coach, Montella. And if he sees that, Locatelli is not completely fit, I don't think he's going to be there to field him at all. Abdul says, what do you think of Montella's comments today about not requiring Kuchka's characteristics, although he still values him? Well, that's exactly what I was mentioning before regarding Kuchka. Montella said that, at times he feels that a guy like Kuchka, it's not really a player that will fit in the categories that he wants. And what I mean by that, maybe he's not the most skillful of players, but he definitely implies that certainty in terms of, having a physical presence in that midfield, which I think, and I think everyone thinks, we often lack in this team. So a guy like Kuchka is definitely needed. Maybe if he had more of a playmaker role to his position as well, to his characteristics as well, would have been better off, that's for sure. But we still can't deny that he's definitely a piece that Montella cannot do without. And his comments regarding him, I think, were more towards the fact that he needs players to rest at times, and they might not be seeing the full 90 minutes at all times. Arkigar says, Gio, what are you hanging behind you? I think you're speaking about the flags. Well, we definitely have a few flags there. We got the Milan flag. Sorry, right there. We got the Milan Club Montreal flag and a few scarves. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that we're hanging there. Obviously, if you guys want me to put more things in the future, and if I do obtain a few more things, I will be posting them Milan related. I also have a Milan calendar here to my right, but you won't be able to see it. Beautiful calendar with pretty much the team picture, and yeah, it's very well done. This was sent by the Milan Club Association from Italy, and it sends it to all the Milan clubs around the world. And since I'm part of the Milan Club Montreal, I got a free calendar, so that's pretty neat of them, and thank you for that. Afi says, I think we have a plan A on the first 11, and no one on the bench can change the game if we need. That is very worrying. Well, this was a worrying sign that wasn't only necessarily due to this game. I mean, we've always discussed the thing about depth, the lack of depth, and I think that we always have this reoccurring problem in the team. Yes, maybe we see it more this game because we don't actually have our starters, and we have a lot of the substitutes that are playing in this match, players that we wouldn't normally see. But at the same time, I think that it's not only a problem that's been very focused particularly to this match, but it's been an overall problem since the start of the season. Harsh says, I heard the deal won't go through, and Cess are pulling out of the deal. Like I mentioned before, I won't make any further comments regarding the whole situation. There's just way too many incoming voices, and until something's done regarding it, officially confirmed, then I wouldn't be talking about the whole situation again. So if you guys have a few more comments, I will be staying for a couple of minutes here. If not, I will be signing off. Don't forget, the game is tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. Italian time at the San Siro. We will once again be having a live stream watch along throughout the match, so you guys could discuss about the game with us in real time, and that will be followed by the match review. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Don't forget to also leave a like on the video and subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan on a daily, well, not really daily anymore, but as much as possible, I guess. That will be going on for a few more weeks. Like promised, once the end of April starts or the month of May starts, I will be starting to post a lot more frequently. But till then, I'm going to be pretty much focusing on the match previews, reviews, watch-alongs, and if there are really any breaking official news. That's what I will be reporting on Rossoneri TV. But despite all that, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all these videos and to join the biggest Milanista community on YouTube. On that note, guys, I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thank you for watching once again. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.